Yeah.
I feel like it's what I said. I feel like that
There's not enough shame.
I
We
feel like
should do
there's
our
not enough
part and
shame.
shame girls more often.
I feel like women need to be shamed more. They definitely get shamed by their friends for, certain things. Like I bet if you don't dress a certain way, you're wearing the wrong shoes, maybe your makeup's bad, you get shamed. That's why you don't see too many girls who are bad at applying makeup and dressing, because they get shamed if they're not. Plenty of guys have no idea about how to keep their fingernails looking nice, or
I
how
have
to
no
like.
idea what shoes to buy. I'm on male fashion advice on Reddit.
There you go.
'cause
I won't give you shit about that. I don't give a fuck what your shoes look like.
Yeah.
I don't care at all. You won't get
I could
shamed
show
for
up
that.
in Mandels. Kyle won't give a fuck.
I've got some
I think
handles.
the
I love
whole
them.
country needs more shame. Not just girls, everyone.
Yeah, maybe so.
Shame
Maybe
would get this country back on track.
I
We
agree.
need to shame people everyday life.
Merca for
Walk
president.
past somebody in the food court. They're eating a personal pizza and they're morbidly obese. Walk up to them, spit on their pizza. You don't need that. Keep going. You're about to kiss a baby on your platform for running for office. That's an ugly baby. You probably shouldn't have had it. And then walk on your way.
Well, that's I can't
Yeah,
get a point on that one.
we got too many kids here, and you brought that ugly one into the mix. You can't vote for me.
Look at this baby's forehead. This was not a keeper. You should have known that.
Yeah, this one should have got thrown back in the pump. Not big enough to keep.
Jesus Christ.
We got a catch and release program over there. I like
Yeah,
this.
definitely.
I really
Get on
do think
board.
that's
Everyone.
it, though. And if you think about it, it makes sense because, like, I can remember, like, I don't know, like failing at something manly and just feeling really ashamed. My dad just was like, "What? You just half-assed it. You just half-assed it. Did you try this? Did you try that? You half-assing it. You're half-assing it. Give it your all. Do the best you can." And he's like standing over, and I'm just like, I don't know how to fucking do this. God damn it. Fucking learn. How do you think I learned? I did it myself. And I'm just like, all right. So like, there was a lot of that going on growing up. Not
The
like
internet
painful
helps
crowds
nowadays.
crying and like banging things together, but like sort of a look. You need to learn this for yourself because I'm not always going to be here. How do you think that plumbing pipe needs to go? So like,
The
I
internet will
learned
teach
that
you
way.
anything. I swear.
That's true.
I was before you said that. I was like, if I needed to pass the plumber's exam, I bet I could study on the internet. I'm pretty good at tests and pass that test.
Dude, that Nigerian kid, that African kid, I don't know if he's Nigerian for some reason. I forget his nationality. But did you see this Reddit article about this kid who, like, from library books, learned how to make a windmill? Or
Oh, I only read the title.
he from library books alone, he some sort of power generating windmill or water mill or something to provide electricity for his whole fucking village for the first time. And then like he designed a bigger one or something like that. And I saw another post where they claimed that post's comments had dissolved into a bunch of racism and bullshit. And I don't know anything about that because I didn't look into the comments, but I was just impressed by the kid, just clearly African child, very smiling, very happy. And provided electricity for his whole fucking village with shit he'd read in a book somewhere. And I thought that was brilliant.
Books
And
are
each
good.
of us could do that. Like,
Yeah, and the internet's awesome.
you see everyone gives so much clout. Oh, he went to this university. He's got a degree from that university. Their curriculum, all the books, all the stuff that go into getting a Harvard degree are readily available to all of us. If you want to, you may not get a Harvard diploma, but you can be just as well educated as a Harvard graduate if you just fucking start reading. Just start reading the books that they read, and you'll know the same things. It's pretty basic, but no one ever talks about that. That all that information is there for the having. And I can just imagine, like our ancestors, if you told a lot of them, you're like, all the information that you can possibly imagine is over there in that box, like in your fucking show them your
In your
telephone,
phone. Yeah.
right here. Anything you want to know could be. Oh, really? What's the temperature in Madagascar? You want Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
It's like, where's the position of Venus right now? It's right there. You can't see it right now, but it's right there. Like anything you possibly want to know is there, and you could learn astrophysics, you could learn biology, you could learn mechanics, you could learn
There's
anything.
an app for iPhone and Android where you can see the constellations. And
Oh,
it's
I've
the
seen that.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
hold it
you
up
just-
and you see it and you move it around and it just shows you, and then you can go through the Earth and see the ones
Yeah.
that you can't see.
Friend of mine has that, and he was like just a little dot in the sky that I would have thought was just an insignificant star. Like he holds it up, and this thing zooms in on it and shows that it's Mars and like a bunch of facts about it, and then you just move around. It's pretty sweet. Didn't
Yeah.
download it, but I'll remember.
I wish I had known about that when I was in Texas, or at least remembered. I did know about it. I've heard about it before, but I've never used it or seen it used. But when I was in Texas, there were more stars than I had ever seen before. And it was really, really beautiful.
I had that experience in the Grand Canyon once. We saw 20 shooting stars in a night, maybe 30. I don't know, just tons.
Yeah.
And that was.
I've
never forget.
I've camped out in the backyard a few times whenever there's one of those like big events where there's lots of meteorites coming out, like when we're passing through an asteroid field or something or whatever. And that's always really fun. There's a lot more shooting stars than you would think. If you just stare at the night sky for 10 minutes, you'll see at least one.
That's one of the things I look forward to in my new house. Now, my new house isn't the greatest like stargazing place in the world. To do that, you really need to be in the desert where there's no moisture in the air. But it's light years better than where I am right now. You know, we're on the end of a cul-de-sac. There's street lights. There's house lights. You know, it just lights everywhere. You can see a Walgreens, like a drugstore from my house. The parking lot's all lit up. But the new one, it's not really like that. It's kind of in the woods, and or a big open field. And I look forward to, I don't know. It just seems like there's more stars over there.
One thing I'd like to have that I don't have is a telescope, a good one.
Yeah.
Like nothing else ridiculous. I don't need to be plotting new.
What's your budget?
At least $1,000. Probably top out at maybe. You know, it's one of those things where I'd have to look at the products and see like, oh, for like 300 more, we can see 20% more. That's
I had 500 in my head. I was like, I wonder what you can see for 500.
I looked at whenever we got those
Clouds.
whenever you could do pretty well for 500, believe it or not. But because whenever I got that gift card from YouTube to whatever that electronics online retailer is, B&H, yeah. I was asking my girlfriend and Kitty and sort of considering myself. I was like, what should I do with this? I ended up using it as like a partial payment for a gaming laptop I bought, but I wanted to use it all plus some cash out of hand for a $700 telescope that was already marked down, and it was like a $800 or $900 telescope, and it looked really cool. It wasn't like this big crazy Galileo motherfucker. It was about this long or so, but it was really fat and it had a nice viewfinder. It looked like it would be comfortable to use, and you could see lots of stuff. I don't remember, but you could see all the moons of the planets and stuff like that, and you could see distant galaxies, and I should have gotten it, and now I regret it. And now I feel like I would like to have like $1,000 telescope. I think that'd be really cool.
I think that'd be cool too. I'd like that. Maybe someone out there knows what to get, like a starter telescope. And I don't know anything about telescopes, but I have in my head that it's a little bit like stereos, where like for $100, you're not getting a real one. You're kind of getting a facsimile or a toy of a real one. Mm-hmm. For $250, for $300, you're just getting into the game. At $500, maybe you have a legit telescope. And then the difference between a $500 and a $1,000 is there, but subtle enough that, you take some experience to see the difference. And then when you start, get from like 2,000 to 2,500, they're almost the same. It's very subtle. And that's how I describe a stereo receiver too. If you go from 2,000 to 2,500 in a stereo receiver, the differences are very slight.
Yeah.
You might not even be able to tell the difference.
I was telling that guy out in Texas, the really wealthy guy, because he's building this cabin up on top of one of the higher hills that's out there. He's flattened off the top of this thing, and it's an incredible view from up top. And I was like, I wouldn't be putting a cabin up there. I was like, I'd build my own observatory. I was like, I would have myself, a $250,000 telescope or something like that. The kind that you sit in a chair and the whole building rotates and stuff. Like I would be finding new planets if I were you.
And was he like, oh yeah, I'll do that instead?
He kind of like nodded and he was like, oh yeah. He was like, you can do that? I was like, yeah. There's people out there sitting in their backyards with these, they're finding new planets and stuff and naming them after their families and friends and stuff. I was like, you could find exoplanets. You could find, something cool. You could be the guy who discovers the asteroid that's coming to doom us all, or you could just, see some really beautiful stuff, which is what I'd like to do.
Yeah, I wonder when the good time is. Like I have in my head that winter time is less humid and therefore like the best for stargazing, but I don't know.
Well, if you get an expensive enough telescope, then it just filters that out anyway.
does it?
Yeah, that was one of the major breakthroughs with telescopes. I was watching that thing that the Black Science guy Neil deGrasse Tyson does, and they were talking about this technological breakthrough in telescope technology at some point where they were able to refocus the image to completely compensate for the atmosphere or something like that. So, I'd like to have
Telescope
one.
talk.
Telescope talk. That's
And you
got
know
to be
what? One of the features of them is often that you can photograph through them. I just know I'm going to want that.
Yeah, I think that would be a must if you were going to go ahead. If you were going to spend some serious money on one, more than $500 or $600, I definitely want that. Although I feel like you could put your camera phone in there and probably make it happen that way, and do an okay job.
I know me well enough to know I won't be happy with that by my fifth picture. By my fifth picture, I'll wish I had a camera that I could mount, and the big deal is if you shake it, it ruins it. So you need to, you don't even, it doesn't go when you press the button, it's on a delay. So you press the button and then it happens while you're not touching it and stuff like that. That's, the mirror's already locked up. Whatever. That's what I would want. And I don't know what that would cost to get into, but
Yeah,
I
I don't
imagine you could get something that mostly works for under $1,000. I don't know.
Maybe so. Hey, but yeah, if I was blowing a little bit of money on something that was just purely for fun, I think a telescope would be cool.
With all the money I've saved by being a Dollar Shave Club member, I should be able to pull this off.
I feel like you should be able to.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
since
Kyle
Don't
spent
Accept
most
Pay.
of that money on ass crack salve to soothe his wounds.
Neosporin's good for everything, man. I use so much Neosporin. Anytime if the skin gets broken, it gets Neosporined.
Kyle really treats his minor injuries as if they were majors.
Absolutely, you don't want to get infections.
That's why he's such a virile young man.
I lick it until it stops bleeding and call it good, and also don't get infections.
And part of what you're basing this on was that time when we were playing paintball when I had my hands covered in Band-Aids. And the truth behind that story was, let me show you. I've got the gun right here that did it.
He's right. I am partly basing it on that, but that's not it. Every time I've ever seen Kyle get a scratch, Neosporin, Band-Aids, etc.
No, I remember the first time I paintball with Kyle, noticed an old Band-Aid hands.
So
Like I thought he had a bunch of pet crabs at home or something.
What am I looking at? Is it a Tech
It's a
9?
paintball gun.
Oh, it's a paintball gun.
So this is my Tiberius 9.1 paintball rifle. It's mag fed and everything. It's not as nice as my Dam I got back there. It's a few years older, but it's got Picatinny rails, just like an AR-15 does. These rails here, they're not made to the same standards as an AR's Picatinny rails are. They have sharp edges all the way down. And what I was trying to do is put Picatinny rail covers on there, which are these plastic covers that go on there, so you can grab it more nicely, and it covers them if you don't need to put anything there, and it makes it look better, feel better, all that. And I was trying to slide it on, and my hand slipped really hard all the way the length of the thing. And so each of these, it's a quad rail, cut me in like 2 different places. So I had like, whatever, do the math, 6 long, really deep paper cuts, basically, like all down the palm of my hand. So all my fingers had cuts across them, my palm had cuts all across them. And we're playing paintball. We're digging around in the bushes and getting all muddy and paint and grease and stuff.
Well, thank God you were okay.
Yeah, I survived. I kept all my fingers. It was a win because I Neosporined the fuck up. And I put Band-Aids all over my hands. Just like I always do.
I'm torn because the real me is actually empathetic to what he went through. But the
I know,
show
but
me
it's
wants
more
to just
fun
make fun of him. Yeah.
To make fun of him, it looks like he was spent all his nights sewing or crocheting poorly.
I'm just glad you made it, Kyle.
I made it.
You made it good.